The Council's complacency. In a galaxy teeming with life, where civilizations rose and fell like tides, there existed a powerful entity known as the Galactic Council. This assembly of diverse species had once held humanity in high regard, but time had dulled their memories. Decades ago, during a conflict that shocked them all, humans had displayed an unexpected strength that left scars on both their fleets and their pride. They had fought fiercely, employing strategies that caught even the most seasoned commanders off guard. But as years passed, those vivid recollections faded into myth, whispered tales told by elders to wide-eyed children. The Galactic Council had grown complacent. Newer generations of council members, emboldened by a sense of superiority, dismissed humanity as a minor player on the galactic stage. They believed that Earth was merely a quaint planet filled with primitive beings who had long since settled into obscurity. To them, humanity was no longer a threat. It was a curiosity, a footnote in the annals of galactic history. As discussions began to surface within the council chambers about expanding their territory, voices echoed with confidence. They noted how Earth had remained quiet for years, seemingly content with its small patch of territory. This silence was interpreted as weakness. They believed humanity had softened, lulled into complacency by their own isolation. Why should we fear them? One young council member argued passionately. They have shown no signs of aggression. We can reclaim what is rightfully ours. Despite a few older members voicing concerns, recalling vividly the fierce resistance they had encountered previously, these objections were quickly drowned out by laughter and derision. The prevailing sentiment was clear. Humanity had grown weak, and now was the moment to reassert control over those forgotten sectors. With this newfound confidence, plans were set in motion. A modest force would be dispatched to probe human territories, gauge their defenses, and, if possible, push them back further into obscurity. Preparations began quietly but confidently. Ships were readied, troops were briefed, and a small fleet set course for the outer fringes of human space. As they crossed into human-held territory, there was no sense of urgency among the Council's leaders, only palpable confidence that this would be an effortless expansion. Scanning the area revealed nothing but empty space. There were no signs of significant human activity or defenses. To them, it seemed their assumptions were correct. Humanity had indeed grown soft. They moved deeper into what they believed was unclaimed territory. With each passing moment, their confidence swelled. They spoke openly about easy victories and swift conquests while remaining blissfully unaware of the unseen eyes watching from the shadows of space. Meanwhile, far beyond their reach lay a secret fleet, a hidden blade forged in anticipation of this very moment. Known only to a select few within Earth's highest echelons of leadership, this fleet had been meticulously developed over years in preparation for when the Galactic Council would once again underestimate humanity's strength. The leaders aboard this hidden fleet understood well what was at stake. They recognized that complacency could lead to disaster if not met with decisive action. As they monitored the movements of the Council's ships encroaching upon their territory, tension filled the air like static before a storm. Among those aboard was Captain Ilara Voss, a brilliant strategist whose reputation for innovative tactics preceded her. She had spent years training her crew for this moment, the moment when humanity would rise again from beneath its veil of complacency. Her resolve hardened as she watched the Council's ships drift deeper into what they mistakenly believed was unguarded space. "Prepare for engagement," she commanded firmly, her voice steady despite the weight of responsibility pressing down on her shoulders. Her crew sprang into action. They understood that this was not just about defending territory. It was about reclaiming dignity lost in years of underestimation. As systems powered up and weapons were readied, Ilara felt a surge of determination wash over her. The time for waiting was over. Humanity would unleash its strength once more. As Ilara stared out at the vastness of space through her ship's viewport, she recalled stories passed down through generations, tales of resilience against overwhelming odds and innovation born from necessity. She knew that this time would be different. This time humanity would not be caught off guard. The Galactic Council may have forgotten Earth's strength, but Ilara Voss and her crew were ready to remind them, ready to unleash it once again. Awakening the hidden fleet. In the depths of space, far from the prying eyes of the Galactic Council, a hidden fleet lay in wait. This was not just any fleet. It was a carefully orchestrated assembly of humanity's finest ships, equipped with advanced technology and trained personnel, all dedicated to one purpose: to protect Earth and remind the galaxy of its strength. Known only to a select few within Earth's highest command, this fleet had been meticulously developed over decades, a testament to human ingenuity and foresight. The secret base. The fleet was stationed at a secret base on the dark side of the moon, shrouded in shadows and cloaked from detection. Here, engineers and scientists worked tirelessly, refining their technology and strategies. The base was a hive of activity, filled with the hum of machinery and the chatter of determined voices. Holographic displays flickered with data about the Council's movements, while technicians calibrated weapon systems designed for both offense and defense. Captain Ilara Voss stood at the center of this operation, her presence commanding respect and focus. She had spent years preparing for this moment, understanding that complacency could lead to disaster. The Council's underestimation of humanity was not just an opportunity. It was a challenge that she intended to meet head-on. The crew's resolve. Ilara's crew was composed of individuals from various backgrounds: engineers, pilots, strategists, all united by a common goal. Each member brought unique skills to the table, and together they formed a cohesive unit ready to face whatever threats lay ahead. Among them was Lieutenant Marcus Chen, a brilliant tactician known for his quick thinking in high-pressure situations. His analytical mind complemented Ilara's strategic vision perfectly. As Ilara addressed her crew in the command center, she felt a surge of pride. "We have trained for this moment," she began, her voice steady yet passionate. "The Galactic Council thinks they can waltz into our territory unchallenged. They believe we have forgotten how to fight. But today, we show them that humanity is not to be underestimated." Cheers erupted from her crew as they rallied behind her words. They understood what was at stake. This was not just about territory. It was about dignity, survival, and proving that humanity still had teeth. Preparing for battle. With their resolve strengthened, Ilara laid out their battle plan. They would not wait for the Council to reach their borders. Instead, they would take the fight to them. Using advanced stealth technology developed in secret, they would position themselves strategically near the Council's path. "Let them come," Ilara declared confidently. "We will be ready." As preparations continued, each crew member took on their roles with precision. Pilots ran simulations in virtual reality chambers, while engineers conducted final checks on weapon systems. The atmosphere buzzed with anticipation. It felt like electricity crackling in the air. The first signs of movement. Days passed as they monitored the Council's movements through long-range sensors. Reports confirmed that the Council's ships were advancing deeper into human space without any indication of resistance. This only fueled Ilara's determination. She knew that their confidence would soon turn into confusion when they encountered unexpected opposition. "Keep an eye on those sensors," Marcus instructed his team with urgency. "We need to know exactly when they cross into our territory." Finally, the moment arrived. The sensors blared an alert as they detected the Council's fleet entering human-held space. Excitement surged through the command center as Ilara gathered her crew once more. "Prepare for deployment," she commanded. "We're going to show them what Earth is made of." Launching into action. With adrenaline pumping through their veins, the crew sprang into action. Ships were launched from the hidden base like arrows released from a bowstring, gliding silently through space as they approached their targets. Each vessel was equipped with cloaking devices that rendered them nearly invisible to enemy scanners. Ilara piloted her ship at the forefront of the formation alongside Marcus and other key officers who had trained rigorously for this very moment. As they neared their destination, She felt a sense of purpose wash over her, a realization that this was not just about fighting. It was about reclaiming humanity's place in the galaxy. Stealth mode activated, Marcus announced as they entered enemy territory undetected. The vastness of space surrounded them like an endless ocean, but within it lay their adversaries, unaware and unprepared. The element of surprise. As they approached the Council's fleet, Ilara initiated their first tactical maneuver, a surprise attack designed to disrupt communication among enemy ships and create chaos within their ranks. The plan hinged on speed and precision. If executed correctly, it would send shockwaves through the Council's forces. On my mark, Ilara instructed her crew as they positioned themselves strategically around key enemy vessels. With bated breath, she counted down silently in her mind before shouting. Now, the hidden fleet unleashed a barrage of missiles, targeted at communication relays on several Council ships simultaneously. Explosions lit up the darkness of space as chaos erupted among enemy ranks. Ships spun out of control while others struggled to regain communication with one another. Unleashing humanity's strength. The element of surprise worked in humanity's favor as confusion spread like wildfire throughout the Council's fleet. Ilara watched with satisfaction as her crew executed maneuvers flawlessly, each ship moving in perfect harmony as they engaged enemy vessels one by one. Keep pushing forward, she urged her team as they pressed their advantage against an unsuspecting foe. What had once seemed like an effortless expansion for the Galactic Council had turned into a nightmare, a stark reminder that humanity was far from weak or complacent. As lasers flashed across space and explosions echoed in silence, Ilara felt an overwhelming sense of pride swell within her chest. They were fighting not just for survival, but for recognition, a chance to show that Earth still held power among the stars. A new dawn for humanity. With each passing moment, humanity reclaimed its strength piece by piece. The battle raged on as Ilara led her crew with unwavering determination. They were no longer underdogs but warriors ready to defend their home against those who dared underestimate them. As victory began to seem within reach, Ilara knew this was just the beginning. A new chapter in humanity's story where they would no longer be dismissed or forgotten, but celebrated for their resilience and ingenuity. In that moment, amidst chaos and conflict, one thing became clear. Earth had awakened its strength once more. And this time, there would be no turning back. The first encounter. As the Galactic Council's ships glided deeper into human territory, a sense of complacency enveloped their ranks. They moved through the vastness of space with an air of confidence, convinced that they were on the brink of an effortless expansion. The Council members exchanged casual remarks about their impending victories, oblivious to the storm brewing just beyond their sensors. The calm before the storm. On board the hidden fleet, Captain Ilara Voss and her crew prepared for their first encounter with the Council. The atmosphere was charged with anticipation as they gathered in the command center, where holographic displays illuminated their faces. Ilara stood at the helm, her expression focused and resolute. "Today we remind them who we are," she declared, her voice steady. "They think we've forgotten how to fight, but we've been preparing for this moment." Her crew nodded in agreement, their determination palpable. They had trained for years, honing their skills and developing strategies that would catch the Council off guard. Each member understood the stakes. This was not just a battle for territory, but a fight for recognition and respect. The Council's overconfidence. Meanwhile, within the Council's flagship, Commander Tarek surveyed the starfield with a sense of triumph. He had heard tales of humanity's past defiance, but dismissed them as relics of a bygone era. To him, Earth was just another planet, one that had settled into quiet obscurity. "Prepare to engage," Tarek ordered his officers, his voice brimming with confidence. "We'll show them that they are no match for our might." The officers complied without hesitation, unaware that their overconfidence was about to become their greatest weakness. As they activated their weapons systems and prepared for what they believed would be a swift victory, they failed to notice the shadows lurking just beyond their reach. a sudden shift. Ilara's fleet lay in wait just outside the Council's path, cloaked and ready to strike. She monitored the Council's movements closely, her heart racing as she anticipated the moment when they would finally engage. "Steady," she instructed her crew as tension filled the air. "Wait for my command." As the Council's ships approached, Ilara felt a surge of adrenaline coursing through her veins. This was it, the moment they had trained for. With a final glance at her crew, she took a deep breath and prepared to unleash humanity's strength. The first strike. Now, Ilara shouted as she initiated their surprise attack. The hidden fleet sprang into action, launching missiles aimed at key targets among the Council's ships. Explosions erupted in space as chaos unfolded. Enemy vessels were caught off guard, scrambling to respond to an attack they never saw coming. "Target their communication relays," Marcus Chen called out from his station. "We need to disrupt their coordination." Ilara nodded in agreement and watched as her crew executed their orders with precision. The Council's ships struggled to regain control amid the confusion. Some spun helplessly, while others fired blindly into the void. Human ingenuity on display. As the battle raged on, Ilara marveled at her crew's ingenuity. They maneuvered through enemy fire with grace, employing tactics that showcased humanity's resourcefulness. Each ship in her fleet worked in harmony, anticipating one another's moves and adapting rapidly to changing circumstances. "Flank them from both sides," Ilara commanded as they pressed forward against a group of Council ships that had regrouped. "Let's show them what we're made of." With coordinated strikes and clever evasions, humanity's hidden fleet began to turn the tide of battle in their favor. The Council members were no longer confident conquerors. They were now desperate defenders fighting against an enemy they had underestimated. The Council's realization. Back on the flagship, Commander Tarek watched in disbelief as his forces faltered under the relentless assault from humanity's hidden fleet. Reports flooded in about damaged ships and disrupted communications. Panic began to ripple through his command. "What is happening?" he demanded angrily, slamming his fist on the console. "Why aren't we responding effectively?" His officers scrambled to provide answers, but could only offer excuses about unexpected tactics and advanced weaponry that hadn't been accounted for. It was clear. Humanity had evolved since their last encounter. A turning point. As Ilara led her fleet deeper into enemy lines, she felt a sense of empowerment wash over her. This was not just about defending Earth. It was about reclaiming humanity's place among the stars. A chance to rewrite history and ensure that they would never again be dismissed or forgotten. "Press on," she urged her crew as they faced another wave of enemy ships attempting to regroup. "We have them on the ropes. Let's finish this." With renewed determination, Ilara's fleet surged forward like a tidal wave crashing against a fragile shore. The Council's forces struggled to mount any effective counterattack. Every attempt seemed futile against humanity's relentless advance. The aftermath of battle. As the dust began to settle from the initial skirmish, both sides assessed their losses and gains. The Council had suffered significant damage. Ships were adrift or destroyed, and morale plummeted within their ranks. Ilara took a moment to breathe deeply amidst her crew's cheers of victory. This was only the beginning of what would become a fierce struggle between two vastly different perspectives on power and resilience. "Prepare for our next move," she instructed firmly. "We can't let up now. We must capitalize on our advantage." Her crew nodded in unison. They understood that this victory was merely a stepping stone toward something greater. A chance to prove themselves not only as warriors, but as innovators capable of reshaping their destiny. A new era begins. As word spread throughout both fleets about what had transpired during this first encounter, it became clear that humanity was no longer willing to be underestimated or ignored. The Galactic Council would have to confront a new reality, one where Earth stood tall among its peers rather than cowering in obscurity. Ilara knew that this battle was just one chapter in an ongoing saga, a saga defined by human strength and resilience against overwhelming odds. With each passing moment, She felt more determined than ever to lead her people into a future where they would reclaim not only their territory, but also their rightful place among the stars. In this newfound resolve lay hope, a hope fueled by creativity and curiosity that would inspire generations to come as humanity prepared to unleash its full potential once again against those who dared underestimate them. Humanity strikes back. As the dust settled from the initial skirmish, the Galactic Council found itself grappling with a harsh reality. The once confident commanders, who had anticipated an easy conquest, now faced the consequences of their underestimation. The hidden fleet of Earth had unleashed its strength, turning the tide of battle in ways that left the Council reeling. The Council's disarray. Inside the flagship of the Galactic Council, Commander Tarek paced back and forth, his mind racing. Reports flooded in about damaged ships and disarray among their ranks. The once proud fleet was now a chaotic scene of confusion and fear. Officers scrambled to regain control, but the damage had been done. "What do we do now?" an officer asked, panic evident in their voice. "Our communications are down, and we're losing ships." Tarek clenched his jaw, struggling to maintain composure. "We regroup and assess our losses," he commanded, though uncertainty gnawed at him. "We cannot allow ourselves to be defeated by a species we deemed insignificant." Despite his bravado, Tarek knew they were at a disadvantage. The Council's overconfidence had blinded them to humanity's potential, and now they were paying the price. Ilara's strategic advantage. Meanwhile, Captain Ilara Voss stood at the helm of her ship, surveying the battlefield through her viewport. The sight of Council ships in disarray filled her with a sense of purpose. They had proven that humanity was not to be trifled with. They had reclaimed their strength. "Status report," she called out to her crew. "Several enemy ships are disabled or retreating," Marcus Chin replied, his eyes glued to the holographic display. "We have them on the run." Ilara felt a surge of determination. This was their moment, a chance to press their advantage and show the Council that humanity would not back down. "Prepare for pursuit," she ordered. "Let's not give them a chance to regroup." Chasing shadows. As Ilara's fleet surged forward, they pursued the fleeing Council ships through the void of space. The thrill of victory propelled them onward. They were no longer just defending their territory. They were reclaiming it. "Target their engines," Ilara commanded as they closed in on an enemy vessel trying to escape. "We can't let them get away." The crew responded swiftly, launching precision strikes aimed at disabling the enemy ship's propulsion systems. Explosions lit up the darkness as their weapons found their mark, sending debris scattering into space. "Direct hit," one crew member shouted as cheers erupted around them. Ilara allowed herself a brief moment of satisfaction, but quickly refocused on the task at hand. This was not just about winning battles. It was about sending a message that humanity would not be underestimated again. The Council's counterattack. Back on the flagship, Tarek realized that they could not afford to retreat entirely. The Council needed to regain control and assert dominance over this unexpected conflict. He gathered his senior officers for an emergency meeting. "We cannot allow this humiliation to continue," he declared with renewed determination. "We will regroup our forces and launch a counterattack." "But, Commander," an officer interjected hesitantly, "our forces are scattered and demoralized. We may not have enough strength to face them head-on." Tarek bristled at the suggestion of defeat, but knew that he needed a plan that would restore confidence among his ranks. "We will use our remaining ships strategically," he replied firmly. "Surprise is still on our side if we act quickly." A new strategy. As Tarek laid out his plan for a counteroffensive, Ilara's fleet continued its relentless pursuit. They were closing in on another group of Council ships when Marcus raised an alarm. "Captain, we've detected multiple enemy vessels regrouping ahead. They're preparing for a counterattack." Ilara's heart raced as she assessed the situation. The Council was not finished yet. They were regrouping for one final stand. "All hands, prepare for engagement," she ordered, her voice steady despite the tension in the air. The crew sprang into action, readying weapons and preparing defensive measures as they approached the enemy formation. The clash of forces. As both fleets faced each other in space, tension crackled like electricity in the air. The Council's ships formed a defensive line while humanity's fleet advanced with determination. "On my mark," Ilara shouted as she watched enemy vessels maneuver into position. With a fierce battle cry echoing through her ship's comm system, she commanded, "Engage." Lasers erupted from both sides as chaos engulfed the battlefield once more. Ships danced through space like predators hunting prey. Explosions lit up the darkness as both forces clashed with ferocity. Ilara maneuvered her ship expertly through enemy fire, her crew working in perfect harmony as they executed tactical maneuvers designed to outsmart their opponents. A turning point. Despite their initial advantage, Ilara knew that this battle would not come easily. The Council had regrouped effectively. They fought back with renewed vigor as they sought to reclaim their lost ground. "Focus fire on their command ship," Marcus shouted over the din of battle. Ilara nodded resolutely. Taking down Tarek's flagship would send shockwaves through the Council's ranks and demoralize them further. With coordinated precision, her fleet targeted Tarek's command ship amid the chaos surrounding them. Lasers streaked through space as they unleashed everything they had against it. A moment of doubt. But even as they pressed forward, doubt crept into Ilara's mind. What if this wasn't enough? What if humanity couldn't sustain this fight? She shook her head vigorously. She couldn't afford to think like that now. They had come too far and sacrificed too much already. "Stay focused," she urged her crew as they continued their assault on Tarek's flagship. "We can't let up now." The Council's desperation. Inside Tarek's command ship, alarms blared as damage reports flooded in from all sides. His officers scrambled to maintain control amid chaos while he fought against rising panic within himself. "We need reinforcements," one officer shouted desperately. "There are no reinforcements." Tarek snapped back angrily, but knew deep down that they were losing ground fast. With every passing moment, it became clear that humanity was not just fighting for survival. They were fighting for recognition against an adversary who had long dismissed them as insignificant. A final push. As Ilara's fleet pressed forward relentlessly toward Tarek's flagship, she felt determination swell within her chest. This was it. This was humanity's moment. "Prepare for one last push," she commanded fiercely as they closed in on their target once more. In unison, her crew rallied together, each member fueled by passion and purpose, as they launched everything they had left toward Tarek's command ship. Explosions erupted around them as lasers collided with armor plating, while debris scattered across space like fallen stars, a testament to both sides' fierce resolve in battle. Victory within reach. With one final strike aimed directly at Tarek's flagship's core systems, the heart of its power, Ilara held her breath as energy surged through her ship's weapon systems before releasing it all in a blinding flash of light. The impact sent shockwaves throughout space. The Council flagship trembled violently before erupting into flames. Cheers erupted from Ilara's crew as victory seemed within reach. But even amidst celebration lay uncertainty. This battle was only one step toward reclaiming humanity's place among stars. There would be more challenges ahead. Yet today marked something significant. Humanity had struck back fiercely against those who dared underestimate them. In this moment lay hope, a hope rooted deep within every human heart, a reminder that no matter how dire circumstances become, strength lies within unity, and together, they could face anything.